So, welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me we have some more RPG horror stories. When I was recording, turns out that I had some extra stories left over that I decided to separate in their own video because otherwise the other videos would be way too long. So, in a sense, it's kind of a bonus video in a sense. Also, do you like my little Santa hat on my little horns? This is an avatar that I made like a year ago, last year specifically. I like little dangly hats and the horns. I think they look perfect. Anyway, let's get to the story for today. My first D&D experience is maybe the worst one ever for me. Hey, so these are all rather recent events, over the course of a few months, but I had no idea where to put this story, so I hope this would be a spooky or horrible enough experience to out there. Also warning, there's a brief mention of... What? PDF file, but I didn't know how to tag it, so just beware if you're sensitive to that topic mentioned, and hopefully I tagged the story correctly. What are we getting into? So I'm rather new to D&D, this being my first campaign. I'm not sure what version we are playing since we use D&D and Beyond, and I'm also new of course, but recently switching to Pathfinder. I've been in D&D space for a couple years now, and I've technically played before in my high school, but the campaign barely even qualified as one. And this experience with this campaign is, well, not good. For a bit of some context for this campaign, I play with a small group of my friends from high school, and they know I'm a beginner. I'm the second oldest of the group, being 19 male, but everyone else is between 16 and 17, with the eldest being 20-ish years old. We usually book a room in our local library since there's no shop near us for D&D. Now for our characters, since they're somewhat important, I played double-class Bard Rogue, who is classed as an Aasimar as a base, but he's actually a fallen angel nicknamed Bucket. The nickname was thrust upon me when I was trying to come up with a fake name for him for lower reasons. It was a reference to some D&D group, I forget which one. Second most important character in the story is Fish person named Axel, late 20s. All these names except Bucket are fake for privacy reasons since Bucket is already a fake name for my character. The third most important character is a mute girl named Ivy. Forgot race and class of my other party members just because I write notes for our party and have so many notes that I ironically lose track. Other characters is a tiefling doctor named Lily. So back to the actual story. Lately, I've been getting more and more fed up with my campaign because of some reason. Ever since we started, I've been the constant butt of the joke. I always get the short end of the stick, and even get hurt by other players through bites and punches, even though they never actually take away health. But compared to everyone else who either makes themselves the butt of the joke, or just don't get joked around with it altogether, I sometimes really don't want to be the butt of the joke, but I laugh along anyway because I don't want to be an ass, you know? If you continue laughing, that's consent for them to keep going at the end of the day. And just for anybody to know, if you're getting teased and you're just sick and tired of being the butt of the joke, you gotta say something. Because if you keep laughing along with it, they're gonna be like, oh, that's fine with it. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep, you look at you, Bucket, you big, I don't know, you big dummy. Haha, Bucket laughed at that. Bucket chuckled, guys. Let's keep going. If you're annoyed by something, you need to make sure people know clearly that you're not gonna deal with that at all ever again. It's gotten to the point as well where I have been critiqued on everything about my character, to the point where it just feels like they just want to complain about how I play and make characters. I've been told my character's last name sucked, to the point where I had to change his name entirely. His last name was used to be Rikyu, since I really liked the last name personally, and I have been criticized for the way I play my character since I'm not Bard or Rogue enough. Mind you, my character isn't the stereotypical Bard. He's flirty, but he's also a bit awkward and isn't the most confident at times. Plus I was experimenting since I have never played Bard but always wanted to, so in the beginning I didn't use that many spells. Also I had to learn to be a rogue for low reasons. He's not the most shiftiest and sneakiest rogue. And all that critiquing mainly came from the player who plays Axel, and also the player is someone I'm dating outside D&D. So it just makes me feel more like crap because everyone agrees with them and how I play wrong, or my character's name sucks. Also for added context, the player is also the creator of the world we're playing in. They just didn't want to be the GM, and I'm honestly glad they aren't. But that's for later since the story is more recent but still relevant. So Axel is your partner IRL basically, but their character for whatever reason, or maybe they at the table as well, are basically being mean to your character, or maybe being mean to you. Here's the question that I have, the biggest question that I have. Are they being mean in character to your character because it's a bit, or are they just using this opportunity to be mean to you? Because those are two different things. In character bullying character for roleplay reasons, because it's like haha funny bit, and I guess they're kind of used to it, is one thing. But if they're being mean to you at the table and using this as an excuse to be mean to you, then I feel like there's a greater problem going on here. Let me know in the comments below what you think it is, and then we'll find out towards the end of the video if we were right. And don't get me wrong, I loved Axel's character. He is supposed to be a rival to my character since he had a gut feeling that Bucket was lying about something, which is correct. He was hiding his angel status from everyone from safety, and I actually really enjoyed the rivalry, made for some fun roleplay moments. But now I just kinda hate it. Mainly because recently we had a whole side thing where our GM basically made us try to hypothetically kiss and make up and get to the point where we try to become less of rivals and warm up to each other. Our characters, Bucket and Axel, vented to each other when they were essentially stuck in a void, and Bucket told Axel why he was lying to everyone. But even since that happened, it seemed like Axel hates Bucket even more. It's getting rather annoying, especially since his main characteristic he has is that he is an a-hole. And to me, it now feels like the player is just using our way to be mean to me. And I know I'm not the best partner, we've had our ups and downs, and the downs have really sucked, but I'm trying my best, and it just feels like a slap in the face. Have you considered talking to Axel outside of the game? Because if it's leading into the character and stuff, maybe they got a problem with you and is just using that to basically take it out on you. I feel like maybe you should probably talk to them about it, because especially if this is like a recent thing that's going on and it's bleeding like in and out of character or whatever, maybe you just probably need to have a conversation with them or something. Maybe you do. I'm kind of like jumping into this a little bit early on, sorry. And before we even had the venting session forced by the GM, Axel even initiated PvP against Bucket, since he was annoyed and angry at Bucket after a battle we had in a helicopter. I didn't want... helicopter? Oh, okay. I didn't want Bucket to fight, but I felt forced into it and had Bucket punch Axel in the face, I think? It's hard to remember, it happened so fast and no one stopped us. And here's where the not safe for work tag comes in. There's an ongoing joke where every time Bucket and Axel fight, one of us says, mainly Ivy, "Oh, mom and dad are fighting again," and some divorce jokes and whatnot. All in good fun. But one day after our session ended, for some reason Axel's player was getting heated and angry about our characters actually getting shipped, and said, "No, they will never get together." And my response to that shipping that day was, well, I know they don't want it, but me personally, if it ever were to happen, I wouldn't mind it since they're two consenting adults. Which I still stand by that. Axel's in late 20s and Bucket looks around 22, but he's actually in his 80s if you go by actual age. He died 60 years before the events of the campaign. So they're indeed consenting adults. So that was my mindset, and yeah, Bucket makes it a bit complicated, but I wasn't looking to actually ship them. It was all a joke, and I wasn't trying to have the DM actually make it happen or anything, since I knew it was nothing more than a joke. But Axel's player was so upset at me for my opinion and started spouting this and that, I barely remember most of the things said because I mostly blocked out the memory. Then Axel's player goes to the door and turns to me and essentially calls me a PDF file. Huh. I won't say what they actually said since it relates to their personal life, but let's say they compared me to someone they knew within their life. It upsets me so much since I have my own trauma relating to the PDF file that they know about. I have fear of PDF files and being seen as one, and yes, this fear is irrational, but I was hurting so bad and it happened when I was younger. I never had a good outlet to talk to someone about my growing fear for the people around me and even myself, since I know of hurt people hurting others and I didn't want to be that. Oh, you know, I honestly have no idea what to really say about this whole thing. Like, on one hand, I'm trying to understand, why is your partner doing this? Why is it, you know what it feels like? It feels like your partner is lashing out at you about something that you shouldn't even do, but they're using the in-game character interaction to lash out at you because maybe they're frustrated at you with something or they're angry at you with something. It feels like some sort of retaliatory thing where they're just using D&D or Pathfinder, basically lash out at you. It was this and that and this kind of criticism, just using that in order to basically attack you personally. They're saying it's in character, but personally I think I don't think your partner likes you. I genuinely doesn't seem like your partner likes you. Assuming your partner is actually using D&D to basically lash out at you directly instead of through in-game character and stuff. Like, this is not a roleplay for them. This is just they're using the Pathfinder game that you guys are playing to basically target you and lash out to you directly. Well, I guess indirectly. Anybody that calls each other a PDF file, I don't think they're gonna be well together. I don't know many people that stay together after such an accusation or comments of that severity, because that's a lot. That's a lot. You guys have a lot more problems going on than currently what's going on with your characters. You have not even in-character problems, you have actual problems between each other, and I think you need to talk to your partner severely about this. Plus, I've always had partners who were younger than me by 1 or 2 years. Never beyond 2, but it still made me paranoid and overthink about how others think. To this day, despite everything, I'm still afraid despite trying to work on not overthinking and not caring about what others think so much. Sorry for the crappy explanation, I don't know how to put it all into words. But on the ride home from the session, they didn't even apologize properly. They just said, "Sorry, I didn't mean it as harsh as I said it." Like, wow, okay, fine then. and ever since, they still haven't apologized fully. How do you put less hardship on somebody else's PDF file? What? That's a non-apology. That sounds like a non-apology to me. It sounds like, sorry that I put it more strongly. I should have used gentler word. I should have used a different word than PDF file or something. I should use diddler or some other word. That doesn't make it better at all whatsoever. I can't believe we don't bring it up in this situation. What? Fast forward to past Halloween, we did a one-shot. And what do you know? My partner, aka Axel's player, was jamming. They prepared in one day, and the story was lackluster, not gonna lie. But that's not why this part of the story is relevant. Because I was playing a new character named Jacques, I hope I pronounced it correctly, a character from Honkai Star Rail that I wanted to play since he had a completely different personality. He's usually polite, along with other qualities. Mainly just the opposite from my normal character Bucket. During the one-shot, for some reason, I got the short end of the stick again because despite Jacques' polite charm and etiquette, not trying to be shifty or suspicious, it was all genuine, the important NPC hated Jacques because of his vibe, even though she liked everyone else. And it made me a bit exasperated because at this point I was getting tired of my character always getting crapped on, and I was the only one engaged with the one-shot anyway. One had to leave early, one had to study, 2 members of our group still go to high school, and one just checked out and drew on her tablet. I think it's because your partner and your GM in this situation don't like your vibes, honestly. I feel like your GM, your partner, Axel, has some sort of a anti-you agenda or prerogative or some kind of a crappy way to look at you. They don't like something you did, but they're not gonna address it and they won't say it. Maybe they don't like maybe it's not even something you even done. Maybe it's something they don't like about themselves, but they're just lashing out at you for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on, but clearly your partner has a problem with you. I genuinely feel like something is going on there, and they're using the vehicle of D&D, Pathfinder, whatever you guys are playing, in order to just lash out at you for some reason. Maybe they need to break up with you. Maybe you guys need to break up. I don't know. Maybe they're setting up for a breakup or something. Maybe they're just taking up their frustrations on you over something else that's going on. I have no idea whatsoever, but y'all not meshing. Y'all are just not meshing in my eyes whatsoever. I was quite frustrated. And I'm getting to the point where now I'm going to bring it up to my GM because I'm not enjoying D&D all that much anymore. I wanted to enjoy it, but this campaign is sucking the joy out of me a bit because of the way I'm treated. Hopefully this will have a happy ending, and I'll update the horror story if this happens again, and I'll bring it up and pull my foot down. But for now, I'll leave the story here. Sorry this story is so long, and all I can hope for is my silly bird boy Bucket will get the justice I think he deserves. TLDR, my D&D character gets crapped on in the campaign a lot. And out of campaign, my fellow players have told me how to play my characters, and one player even called me a PDF file after a small argument that never needed to happen. Edit 2. Hello, I decided to get rid of Edit 1 because I made it because I was way too anxious about one person who didn't understand my relationship with my partner, and I'm trying to learn to not have to explain myself unless absolutely necessary. Also, it was just a real long and there was no point to the explanation because it had nothing to do with the story I'm telling. Sorry for my anxiety, lol. Man, I was hoping there was gonna be like an update. When you said edit 2, I was like, edit 1? Did I miss an edit 1? No, it turns out just clarification that you deleted edit 1 because you over-explain yourself. Like, you really don't have to do that, you know? You don't have to over-explain yourself. You can go to the comments to explain yourself if you really want to. I feel like y'all just not meshing. Yeah, something's going on there. Your partner doesn't like you for some reason. They don't like you, or maybe they're setting up for a breakup or something. I don't know what's going on. Y'all need to have a heart-to-heart. Be like, yo, what is wrong? Feels like you're constantly going against me. What is happening? What is going on in this situation? Maybe it's the age. Maybe it concerns them as well. Maybe you guys have like too much of an age difference for them specifically. Maybe somebody else said something. Maybe it's nothing having to do with you particularly, or maybe it has everything to do with you. Who knows? Maybe it's their issue. Maybe it's your issue. Maybe you have issues together. Either way, it sounds like your partner is taking stuff out on you using D&D, Pathfinder, TTRPGs in general as a vehicle to do so, and it's just masqueraded as, oh, it's just in character for whatever reason. And maybe you just don't question why is you constantly your characters only and not anybody else's characters. I think you need to start asking those questions. I genuinely feel like those questions need to be answered if you think you want to try to stay together with this person or play more D&D with this person. And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.